Hi there, my name is Dr. Ankar Singh, and as you know, I'm one of the licensed naturopathic doctors at Holistic Healing Art Center. First and foremost, we sincerely hope that all of you are keeping safe and healthy during these very unprecedented times. This week is Naturopathic Medicine Week, and to celebrate Naturopathic Medicine Week, every day at 4 p.m. on our clinic Facebook page, be sure to tune in to informative sessions by all of our clinicians. I have the honor today of kickstarting the celebration of Naturopathic Medicine Week. The topic that I would like to share with you is something that is very close to my heart, and that is some quick tips for stress management. It is estimated that 75 to 80% of all of doctors' visits are due to conditions, symptoms that have an underlying stress component. As you know, stress affects each and every one of us, whether they are related to financial pressures, personal relationships and obligations, pressures at work, and moreover, what might be stressful for one individual may not be as stressful for another individual. What happens during the stress response? Whether that stress is defined as good or bad, our body does not differentiate. The nervous system picks up on that distress signal, and then via the nervous system, our adrenal glands release adrenaline and cortisol, both hormones that are produced by the adrenal glands. As a result of this secretion, there are several physiological changes that occur. Our muscles tense up, our breathing rate increases, our heart rate increases, glucose is mobilized into the bloodstream for energy. However, digestion, growth, reproductive, immune systems, these are all put on hold. This physiological stress response is actually a protective response. This is what allows us to be able to deal with those short-term stresses, such as avoiding a car accident, preparing for that important job interview, or acing those exams. We are, and our body is, capable of dealing with those short-term stresses. The issue becomes when stress becomes chronic. Chronic and long-term stress, when day in, day out, you are dealing with physical, mental, emotional stresses. Those demands do not seem to go away, and they start to exceed the resources that are available to be able to deal with those demands. As practitioners, we definitely are able to observe the effects of chronic stress in our patients. Stress can affect virtually every system in our body, whether that manifests as a physical symptom, mental, or emotional. For example, from a digestive perspective, these individuals may complain about gas, chronic bloatedness, diarrhea, constipation, and in fact, a lot of cases of irritable bowel syndrome can have a very strong underlying chronic stress component. Sleep is another aspect that is affected. Some individuals will complain of trouble getting to sleep. Others are unable to maintain sleep through the night, which we define as sleep maintenance insomnia. And unfortunately, in some cases, individuals have trouble with both getting to sleep and maintaining their sleep. Muscle tension, something that we are all familiar with, where you feel that chronic muscle tension, whether it's in your upper traps or you're experiencing chronic headaches. Underlying stress can actually be the cause of some of those types of symptoms. On a cognitive level, some of our patients will start noticing anxiety symptoms. They're feeling overwhelmed constantly, depressive symptoms, And yet further, some have trouble concentrating, or they're noticing they can't focus as they used to be able to do that. And memory changes as well. In terms of memory changes, an interesting study on individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder showed that they had an 8% shrinkage in their hippocampus, and that is the part of the brain that deals with memory. The take-home message is that chronic, long-term stress is linked to an underlying level of inflammation. And it is this constant state of inflammation which is further linked to serious health concerns such as heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, to name a few. Now that we've had a discussion about what is stress, the physiological response that happens with stress, we've talked about short-term versus long-term stress. What are the things that we can now do to help us manage stress day to day? And one of the things to be aware of is that do those things that definitely you can take charge of, take ownership of. The first area that I'm going to speak to you about is diet. So some of the simple things that we need to be reminded of: number one, keeping yourself well hydrated. So ensuring that you're doing about 1.5 liters to 2 liters of water a day. You're going to want to make sure that your diet is rich in vegetables, an assortment of colors, and especially those dark green leafy vegetables. If you can aim for 6 to 10 servings a day, you're doing an amazing job. Fruits, you might get 1 to 3 servings of fruit every day, and those are best consumed on their own, potentially as a snack. With every major meal or snack, ensure that you are getting a healthy protein. You will also want to incorporate healthy fats in your diet through nuts and seeds, avocado, chia seeds, flax seeds, olive oil, coconut oil, to name a few. It's also important that we restrict or eliminate certain items in our diet. So some of those include sugar, processed foods, refined oils. These are definitely things that you will want to eliminate from your diet. If we follow some of these simple strategies, this does go a long way and helps your body be able to physiologically deal with and heal from the stresses. We now come to nutrients that are important when it comes to stress management. I can't go over every single nutrient that may be important, but I'm going to highlight a few of the more important ones. Vitamin C. You cannot go wrong with this vitamin. As you know, vitamin C is water soluble, so we do not store this vitamin in our body. Vitamin C, from a stress management perspective, is a key nutrient for the adrenal glands. As an aside, we also know that vitamin C is important for our liver detoxification pathways, collagen production, our immune function, and as I just mentioned, it is a key nutrient for the adrenal glands. B vitamins, those are also very critical in so many hundreds and thousands of physiological processes. Vitamin B5, or pantothenic acid, is a key B vitamin when it comes to adrenal function. Like vitamin C, it is a key nutrient for those adrenal glands. So essentially, vitamin C and vitamin B provide the nourishment that the adrenal glands need to physiologically be able to balance that stress response. There's a couple of minerals that are very important when it comes to stress management, and those are calcium and magnesium. Both are very calming to the nervous system. As we mentioned earlier, some of the effects of chronic stress can include anxiety, depressive symptoms, and sleep disturbances. These minerals will be very crucial and important to help with those types of symptoms. The next class is herbs that are called adaptogens. and this is one of my favorite areas when it comes to stress management. Adaptogens are herbs that help your body cope with, deal with chronic long-term stress. Essentially, adaptogens have an affinity for the adrenal glands. So just like vitamin C and vitamin B5, they aid the adrenal glands from a physiological perspective. And although, again, there are many adaptogens, some of the very popular ones and key adaptogens that we use clinically are ashwagandha, rhodiola, and holy basil. As an aside, with respect to rhodiola, there were numerous studies done on medical students, and initial studies were actually Scandinavian studies, where an experiment group of about 40 to 50 medical students were given rhodiola. The control group obviously did not receive anything. Over a period of time, when they looked at parameters of how those medical students were dealing with stress, their ability to focus, concentrate, by far, those medical students that were taking rhodiola on a daily basis at a therapeutic level experienced less stress symptoms. They were able to get through stressful situations in a much more healthy manner. So adaptogens can definitely be an excellent part of a treatment plan when it comes to addressing long-term stress. Keep in mind, all of these recommendations that I'm giving, I'm not discussing any dosages because that definitely is very much individual. And it's not the case that every individual will have to do all of these vitamins or herbs. It's very much an individualized, customized plan. The next category that's very important is what are some of those lifestyle things that we need to be reminded of? And I'm sure some of you are already doing these things. Exercise. We need to keep moving. Exercise is an excellent way to help increase endorphin production. Those natural chemicals in our body that make us feel good, they uplift our mood, and they are anti-inflammatory. So a suggestion is at least 3 to 4 times a week to do some form of exercise for 30, 40 minutes, or even up to an hour. During this time of COVID, you can absolutely still continue to do your daily walks as long as you are practicing good, safe social distancing. Another area that's important is some type of meditation or deep breathing. I think it's important to incorporate that in your daily regime. And I'm going to challenge all of you. A simple challenge is for 5 minutes twice a day, I would like you to try doing deep breathing where you sit comfortably or you're lying down comfortably and you're taking slow, deep, rhythmic breaths. And try that for even 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I'm optimistic you will notice a change in a good direction. We are all social creatures, as you know, so it's important that in order to manage our stress on a day-to-day basis, keep engaged with your family, your loved ones. It's important that we check up on each other to ensure that we're all keeping safe and healthy. Journaling can be an excellent way to channel some of that stress onto paper, or being creative. I know during this time, a lot of us are creating new dishes and we're cooking and we're experimenting, or some of us are bringing our pencils out to do some sketch or artwork. Whatever it is important that we do channel that energy in a very positive and empowering way. So in closing, those are some quick tips when it comes to stress management. Another take-home message is that take charge and ownership of what you have control over. As long as we nurture a process, we don't necessarily have to worry about the outcome. Give everything that you can, positive intention, positive effort into the process. Thank you for watching. And once again, this week is Naturopathic Medicine Week. Every day this week at 4 p.m., tune in into our clinic Facebook page. Thank you.